According to the Milk Marketing Board, in 2016, Wisconsin manufactured 3.17 billion pounds of cheese. That makes Wisconsin the largest manufacturer of cheese in the United States per year. It is true that learning how to make cheese can be difficult, but it's a beautiful art and an amazing science to learn, to which the benefit of understanding can bring a benefit of a lifetime of enjoyment. To have a better idea of what cheese making really involves, we're going to take a look at pasteurizing, starter cultures, and finally rennet. First, we'll talk about pasteurizing. Its specific importance to cheese making, and it was invented by Louis Pasteur in 1864 after years of research into why wine would spoil over time. After understanding how harmful bacteria can exist in fluid milk and understanding how to remove them, he applied this process to milk with an amazing effect. For the first time ever, it allowed the dairy industry to set a quality for standard and assure the safety of its product to the general public. The positive results of pasteurization were seen immediately. According to a report given by James H. Steele in New York City, raw milk that was being fed to newborns was changed to pasteurized milk and reduced the effect of the child infancy mortality rate astonishingly. Safe milk through pasteurization progressed the art of cheese making very quickly. It gave cheesemakers the ability to set standards for quality and safety for the products that they provided to the general public. It also held the cheesemakers accountable to standards that were set for them. These standards are now set and regulated by the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection. One type of pasteurization that is commonly used is called high temperature short time, or HTST. These systems are sealed and timed by the federal government to assure that they function properly and that they cannot be adulterated. This requires that milk is heated to a temperature of 161 degrees for 15 seconds and held there to remove 99.999% of all harmful bacteria. Although harmful bacteria can be detrimental to the cheese-making process, good bacteria, such as starter cultures, can have a positive effect in the cheese-making process. Starter cultures are non-harmful bacteria that aid in the development of cheese. Although they are not required to make cheese, they do help and play an extremely important role in the creation of flavor in cheese over time. Their purpose is to change the sugars that are found in lactose into acid, and these acids are what develop the flavors in some of our favorite cheeses such as cheddar, Parmesan, and Asiago. There are two main types of starter cultures that are used. The first is called mesophilic, and that is used at a lower temperature around 86 degrees to promote its growth. This means that milk has to be cooled after pasteurization for its use in the cheese-making process. The next is called thermophilic. Thermophilic cultures are used at higher temperatures where they thrive, and they produce a different type of flavor than mesophilic cultures. They can also be used in different types of dairy products, such as yogurt, to create different types of flavors. Even though both mesophilic and thermophilic cultures are different in nature, they can be used in similar ways. For example, they can be used as what's called direct vat injection, or DVI. These are frozen pellets that are introduced into milk during the cheese making process. Another way they can be used is by creating a mother culture. What this means is they are created in large volumes to assist in the manufacturing of large volumes of cheese. Compared to direct vat injection cultures, which are frozen for several years, mother cultures have to be used within a few days due to their sensitivity of the environment. Starter cultures can play an important part in cheese making, but are not as vital as our next topic, which is rennet. Rennet serves the specific purpose of acting as a coagulant that turns cheese into milk. Rennet has a long and diverse history, as over 2,000 years ago it was used as an ingredient in cheese making. But this was discovered. What they did was they carried milk around in different types of dried animal stomachs, and the enzyme of rennet was found in the lining of these stomachs, and it turned milk, coagulated it, and turned it into an early form of cheese called kefir. Throughout its use over the last 2 millennia, science has discovered this enzyme is found in different types of animals, vegetables, and microbes. Science has progressed the development of rennet since it's always come from animals and hasn't always been desirable, especially now in modern times. Consumers wish to find an alternative that does not create harm to animals. To accommodate this need, what science has done is found a way to grow that enzyme in genetically modified bacteria. Then they convert this enzyme into a liquid or a tablet for further use in manufacturing. Rennet's use over time has also allowed us to better understand its function in the cheese-making process. What it specifically does is removes a certain type of protein from the milk molecule, allowing milk molecules to bond together to form cheese. It also gives starter cultures a longer time to develop acid by regulating that growth of acid in cheese. Now, we have just scratched the surface of what cheese making really involves. We looked at the science that goes behind understanding pasteurization. We examined the use of starter cultures and the role that they play in cheese. And lastly, we explored rennet and its vital importance in the cheese-making process. If someone has never traversed the world of cheese and what it takes to make cheese, this may seem like a daunting task to understand. But it is fun, a tasty art to learn, and not as difficult as it may appear. As one cheesemaker once said, cheese is milk's path to immortality. Wouldn't you like to be part of that journey? Thank you.
Whoa!